most of my work is global, and it's delightful to be part of a more anchored, grounded Massachusetts team with a lot of presence from the area where I live, and I enjoy living. I'm originally from Argentina. I used to be a full-time researcher on climate and disasters. Then I joined almost 2 decades ago the global humanitarian team called the Red Cross, Red Crescent Climate Center. And in that capacity, I've been doing a lot of things that range from applied research to innovative communication. Now, I want to be very candid with you. In addition to inviting you to have a fruitful time, some of this time will help my global team learn how to try to do things better. So if you don't mind, this is the part where I push some buttons and some things may not work. And I promise you that there may be a lot of that coming soon. So there, first I push that. I am assuming that you can see that in small font. I'm going to make that bigger. I'm going to make myself smaller, maybe make myself semi-transparent. And we're going to be engaging in this conversation, recognizing that there's darkness around us and that we need to pursue illumination. And to get started, I'd like to invite you to please, if you don't mind, either through your phone or other devices with a QR code, or by clicking on the link provided. Nathan, maybe you can copy paste in the chat.
Yep.
And that's just a 1-minute link, a very quick survey, some words, and you say if you feel like that or not. Please, please be candid. Don't answer what you think others want you to answer. Answer what you would say is your reality. Let's give you a minute.
And I have also put this into the chat if you don't have ability to use your QR code reader.
Excellent. So just a temperature check. How are you now? Some of those questions may sound strange. Just answer candidly. This is a chance for us to learn how we are, to learn what impact different things can have on us, and to plan. So thank you all. Let's give you about half a minute more. I'm very grateful for your kindness. This has to do with a grant that we received that is about learning whether some of the things we are proposing may make a difference or not. Let's give you about 10 more seconds. And if you have finished, maybe wave to the camera so I know that, okay, some of you have finished. Very nice. So I don't feel too guilty if I move on. Feel free to finish the last question or two while I move on. So here's my first slide with full graphs. We live in an era where our technology allows us to see what happens in the brain in real time. We also can observe and model what's going on around the planet, especially on climate issues. Most of my work has been in Africa. I have worked in over 60 countries. And if you are informed and you're caring, your only option is to occasionally feel like screaming. What you see in the center is a tweet from a French meteorologist who, in looking at the map of temperature anomalies over Europe, he saw the scream, the famous painting by Munch. And that's how it feels sometimes for those of us who have a responsibility to either develop knowledge or to turn knowledge into action. Now, you may think that wasn't this supposed to be a conversation about fun? When I want to start by recognizing a reality that shapes our work life, our personal life, our community life. Now, let me temporarily stop this and invite you. I'm going to ask you a very unusual question for these kinds of events. Go to the chat and write one word you think of when you think of humor. You cannot write the word humor. Any other word is fine. Go ahead and type. What do you think of when thinking of humor? One word. Smile, giggle, laughter, yes, keep it coming, happy, relief, interesting, funny, freedom, wit, excellent, keep it coming, joke, right. So what we find is that almost all of the time when we ask this question, people respond with many of those words. And here are a few more. So laughter and fun dominate. Those are manifestations of the experience of humor. Then there's jokes, there's comedy. For younger folks, it's memes, it's the mechanisms that create humor. If you look at this, there's very little overlap between these words and what we think of when thinking of humanitarian work or climate work. Now, did anyone think of the word death? As you see, it's there in the word cloud. Let me tell you why. When I'm working with professional humorists, including Bob Mankoff, best known for his work as editor for cartoons at the New Yorker magazine, and when I asked him, Bob, what do you think of when thinking of humor? He looked at me in the eyes and said, death. And I thought he was kidding, but turns out he wasn't. Most humorists, when thinking of humor, they think of what can go wrong. This is one cartoon commissioned during one of our events. We call them Cartoonathon. It's like a hackathon where people with issues, professionals, etc., partner with professional humorists to create visuals that help us. This, I think, is one of the best depictions of where we are now as humanity. It may look like a normal day, but if you look around, things have changed in such a way that we are living through a phenomenal period of instability, where a little bit of extra push can create a small change that has a big difference, a big impact. And we are not exactly ready for what's coming. What we're doing about it is a lot of the same, a lot of talking, a lot of getting people to events where this is typical, death by PowerPoint. Many events are go to sleep, go to sleep, go to sleep, go to sleep, and now engage, it's time for action, now. And guess what? We're not doing enough. I used to be an expert at putting people to sleep. I would talk science, and people would tune out before I got to the part where science connected to action. And I've been doing this in many places. This is a photo from southern Mozambique from 2004. Jano Mender de Suarez, my wife, who many of you know, a native Waylander, she took this photo. You see, I'm the fellow with the pink shirt. Those trees saved lives in this part of the world. You may remember that there was a birth documented from a helicopter where a woman gave birth on a tree while the floodwaters were raging and about 100 people died. Now, people sitting and listening is not the most fruitful. And this is not just when we go to lead workshops at communities, it's also the dominant format in global events. This is one of the 17 consecutive UN climate conferences I have attended. Let me repeat, 17 consecutive COPs. You're welcome to send me my condolences. It's miserable. These events seem intentionally designed to make people feel bored to death. They from a Monday through the weekend to the next Friday or more, 200 countries, 10,000 people. What do you think are the chances of this event leading to breakthroughs and solutions? Look at the fellow with the white shirt near the center. That's how it feels to be in those events. We need to reimagine how we're going to deal with these things, especially because we're confronting not only a climate crisis, but also, among many other things going strangely, a mental health convergence with the climate crisis. I now have a grant from the Wellcome Trust, from the Wellcome Policy Lab, and they're supporting us in trying to help understand, anticipate, and address in what ways climate and mental health interact. And so here's a very brief list of some of the things that we know and that we know very well. First of all, there are systems for mental health care, but they're not enough. The average amount of money per person per year spent in mental health in Southeast Asia is 10 cents per person per year. Who can do anything? It's like an aspirin per year per person. We know that when there's scarcity, for example, drought leading to malnutrition in sub-Saharan Africa, that inevitably leads to less protein forming brain cells and letting people who are about to grow into adults to have thoughts. Even the very constitution of our brain is at risk. All sorts of despair, hopelessness, grief are associated with the awareness and experience of a changing climate. Of course, actual disasters, of which we see more and more frequently, more intense, more bizarre. They create distress and trauma and depression and anxiety. Droughts have led to increased rates of suicide, from commercial farmers in Australia to subsistence farmers in India. Heat waves in the US are documented to increase gun violence in what we call mathematically a monotonic relationship. Hotter leads to more shots reported to the police. You may remember L'Étranger, the French book. The main character says, "It's so hot, I feel like going and killing someone," which is dangerous when there are so many weapons around. People with pre-existing conditions at greater risk. When there was the big heat wave in the northwest of North America, people with schizophrenia died at triple the rate of the normal population. I repeat, triple. Now again, you're saying, wait, wasn't this supposed to be fun? Well, this is why we need humor and fun, because we have a terrible, terrifying problem in our hands. We need to seek ways to share light. We need to pursue illumination. We need to help people experience safety, be calm, have efficacy in being able to shape the future, connect with others, and find reasons for hope. And I have been doing this in many, many ways, mostly collaborating with others, with creative, talented people that have very generously helped us do things that you may be surprised to see, but they are so good. Remember that photo of the people under a tree? That was a workshop on flood preparedness. Nearby, in Namibia, after a few years of learning, here's what we did. This is another workshop on flood preparedness, where instead of sitting people under a tree and telling them about science and flood forecasts and early warning systems and what to do, we play the game. You roll some dice, and if a certain thing happens, like a double six, then there's a flood, and people can run and do the things that they said they would do if they knew the flood is coming. If we were playing this game in a university setting, I would say, if it's about fire, okay, you said fire extinguisher, go find the fire extinguisher. And that's when you notice that you don't know where it is. These people are not only engaged in the subject matter, they're having a blast. Look at those faces. It's very easy to tell that they're enjoying, that they're connected. And neuroscience shows that when you're having strong emotions, you form memories that are long-lasting and that are easier to retrieve. When you're having fun, it's easier to engender trust, both in other people having fun with you and in the content. And we know that if we want change, well, change happens at the speed of trust, and humor and fun can help us engender that. This was in sub-Saharan Africa, opposite end of the spectrum. I was invited to run a session in the White House. I was one of 130 participants in the White House, and almost everyone was like, hello, my name is so-and-so from organization this and that, and here's the PowerPoint and the map and the graph of how bad it was and the photo of the poor person, and then we came and provided this solution, and here's a photo of the smiling person and the equation that shows how much, and please give us some money. Second speaker, same story. Third speaker, fourth speaker, PowerPoint, coffee break, more PowerPoint 6, 7, lunch break, next PowerPoint, and I was the second after lunch. I knew that people were like bored to death. And so I said, hello friends, my name is Pablo from the Red Cross, and this is not a frisbee, it's a hurricane. If it hits you in the chest, you're in trouble. And guess what? People are like, what? I said, yeah, please, this, in the fiction of this game, it's a hurricane. I'm going to throw some dice. The hurricane may go in some direction. If it hits you in the chest, you're in trouble. You can sit down to evacuate. But if the hurricane goes in some other direction, someone may steal your refrigerator. And we played the game, and I threw the frisbee, and it hit people, and everyone was confused until they figured out the rule. Double one, throw over here. Double six, throw over there. Interpolate. And someone figured it out, a 5 and an 8, and they figured out it was going on in that direction, and they all sat down as I violently threw the frisbee. It's a foam frisbee. It doesn't hurt. It flew above people's heads. then hit the wall, and they were like, yay! And I said, congratulations, you just connected science and early warnings with action. Now, think Hurricane Katrina. Over 1,000 people died in the wealthiest countries with a very foreseeable hurricane seen this big in satellite images. We could have saved lives, and my team is helping do that in Vanuatu, in Mozambique, in Guatemala. My name is Pablo from the Red Cross. Happy to chat more over coffee break. And guess what? People were awake, people were connected, people got it, and people wanted to engage in finding solutions. We know that fun, well-designed, carefully crafted and delivered fun can help make what is strange, like the science of early warnings, become familiar. And at the same time, things that are familiar but unacceptable, such as people dying because of a hurricane, they become strange, and then it's easier to confront those things. Now, I'm very happy to report that in addition to working with professional game designers, with professional humorists, artists, singers, dancers, we even have a fitness dance class video to teach the science of impacts from the IPCC, for those of you who know it. Like, we've been trying a lot of fun stuff. My current most exciting endeavor is working with professional aerial acrobats. As far as I can tell, there is no art form that is better at embodying risk than acrobatics. Let me illustrate with a cartoon. Right? Acrobats know that timing is really essential. And as humanitarians, as government officials, as donors, as residents, we need to remember that action, the timeliness of action in response to a forecast is so crucial. And this applies to everything from flood preparedness, or think of forest fire hazards. I mean, homes that thought that they were safe were wiped out very fast. But the metaphor of this acrobat also applies to climate change. If we don't have entities like MassEnergize more engaged in helping take action fast at the time and speed needed, then there may be collapse. Now, I've been fortunate to work with professional acrobats, including at a global conference on risk. The conference was called Understanding Risk, convened by the World Bank. Here's yours truly introducing the session. Behind me is a photo of the Brazilian acrobats that were about to perform. This was in a large city in Brazil. And that's a place where many of us from Wayland, including Kat and Satra and Sabine, we went and learned to fly trapeze. In this conference, in addition to experts showing maps of floodplains and NASA talking, we also had a performance on that very stage. Look at that. Can you imagine seeing this and not being inspired to think differently about risk and about possibility? I'm going to invite you to get a taste of this in a few moments. But first, I want to share with you a few additional photos. As mentioned, I have a bit of my life is humanitarian, or a large bit, but I'm also a researcher and affiliated to a team in the UK at Cambridge University called the Center for the Study of Existential Risk. This is a team that was formed to investigate the things that could wipe out all of humanity: asteroid impact, nuclear annihilation. As you can imagine, it's kind of depressing to work on that, because these things could happen. It happened to dinosaurs, could happen to us. AI, we could make things that help wipe us out. Climate is unlikely to bring humanity to extinction, but it can bring civilization to collapse, at least the civilization as we like it in places that we love. But it could be decades, could be centuries, could be less, we don't know, but we have to anticipate. So what I did was to work with colleagues, convening at this Cambridge University a workshop with experts, with funders, with humanitarian workers, and with artists. We had theater people, we have painting people, we have game design people, and we have Tilly, a trained acrobat who taught participants how to do very basic things. And here we are. Look at that. The fellow with the blue hair, he's the head of, what was it, like outreach or something like that at this Cambridge University Center. And this group flew. They experienced balance. They experienced thresholds. They experienced the possibilities of things going wrong, and they experienced exhilaration. Now, I mentioned flying on the trapeze. I have evidence. I could share with you a video, but I won't torture you with that. There I was, learning the physics, learning what to do and not to do, then with a little of extra courage, going ahead and jumping, and I survived. That was one of the moments that really, really turned me into a better disaster manager, a better humanitarian worker, a better scientist. Why? Because when you experience vividly things that have to do with risk management, with preparedness, with anticipation, you can be better. For mental health, I can't explain how alive, not only I, but the 25, 30 participants who joined, including NASA scientists, MIT neuroscientists, Red Cross disaster managers, an 87-year-old blind amputee from Dedham, a 15-year-old athlete. I mean, a person, some of you may know Sabine, who dresses as a polar bear when she's an activist. Otherwise, she can be found teaching at university level. These are things that can make us feel alive. And it creates a very different kind of bonding, a very different kind of experience. So what we're going to do now is to give you a taste of what acrobats can do. This is a photo from a team of acrobats called Gravity and Other Myths. What a wonderful title for a team of acrobats. When you see them, you understand why. It's truly amazing what they're capable of doing. And I literally yesterday got a grant to work with them to develop videos and activities and materials to help us build awareness and anticipation, bearing in mind our mental health needs. So what I'm going to propose now is to ask Nathan to copy paste. It's number 3. I skipped number 2 because we have little time. So you're going to see a link to a Vimeo link. It's a 2-minute video. Like before, you click on it. Maybe everyone make sure to be muted. And then watch the video. It's about 2 minutes, and then I'll invite you to follow up. As you watch it, not only I invite you to view it and enjoy it, but also think, what does it mean for MassEnergize? What does it mean for you and your relationship to climate? There it is. Thank you, Nathan. Please click on that, and let's give you a couple of minutes to watch it. In case you were distracted, click on that video, link in the chat, and watch that video. We'll be back in 2 minutes. All right, I see that folks are coming back. It's fun to see your faces as you watch it, right? Stuff happens, and it's amazing what we humans are capable of. So if you're back in the Zoom and you're seeing me, behind me you see 5 windows, 5 clips with little portions of that video. The moment where the lady flies, the moment where the guy jumps. And what we're going to do now, very soon, we'll give you another link. Sorry to make you work. Climate work is laborious. And you're going to be seeing something like this. You're going to see a little clip, a little GIF. It's about 2 seconds each. And then you're going to be invited to go into the type text area and write something that you think of, that you feel that you want to type and share. It's going to be anonymous. No one knows who writes what. And think of going from darkness to illumination. Think about MassEnergize. What does this inspire? What does that clip make you think, feel, imagine? Share a thought. Make sure to click the yellow button, submit, and then you click on the arrow to see the next one. It's going to be in this link, and if you want to copy paste, Nathan, it's in the, I think it was item number 4, the bit.ly. There you go. Bit.ly, energize ma. Very simply, view a thing, enjoy it, type something for others to see, which is your reaction to it. From darkness to illumination, move on to the next one. And let's give you about 2 or 3 minutes.
Hey, Pablo, it's saying welcome to
Oh,
gallery.
I'm sorry. It's my bad. There you go.
Okay, great.
Thanks for the warning. I forgot to push a button. So you can stay anonymous. There we are. Thank you. All right, comments are coming in. Very nice. What does it make you think? How does it connect to your work life, to your Energize Massachusetts engagements? What can we learn from these acrobats? How does it connect to our well-being, our mental health? What can we do differently? Keep it coming. Nice, we have over 60 comments now. Let's give you 1 more minute or so. For those of you who have annotated everything, I'm going to push a button that allows you to see what other people have written. So you can read, enjoy. You can either click on the little heart if you resonate with that. Wonderful. Let's give you 15 seconds or so. Feel free to be candid, whatever is going through your mind, your gut, your skin. What does this mean for our work? And let's give you 5 seconds. 4, 3, counting very slowly, 2, 1, and make sure to push that yellow submit button about now, because I'm going to move on to the end of this. And next screen, there you are. There's all of your comments, and I'm going to leave this open and active in case you feel like sharing with others. Look at this, putting yourselves out there, trust teammates, connection and trust, thrilling, what we're capable of, precision, exuberance, shared commitment, Hard to believe it is possible. Well, think of what MassEnergize is accomplishing. Yes, this is exactly the kind of stuff we need. So I am going to invite you to come back to the Zoom, and I'm going to, let me see if I can push these buttons appropriately. All right, there we are. So thank you, friends, for this experiment. I've sent you places, I've made you look at cartoons and acrobats and surveys. Now comes the time to think back to what brings us together. MassEnergize. There must be things that you like about MassEnergize. In that case, feel free to go to the chat and write, I like ta 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 ta. Don't write an essay, don't copy paste from your doctoral thesis, but write something simple. I like ta 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 ta. Or maybe because of this session, because of MassEnergize, because of the things we heard before I started speaking, the work in Ghana, the work with leadership, maybe there's something you think you will do that you weren't thinking before. In that case, you can write, I will, ta 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 ta. And maybe you have some curiosity, maybe you have some wondering. What does this mean? What can we do? If you have any questions, write a statement with, I wonder, ta ta ta. So each of you, please write at least one sentence, could be two, could be all three, but it has to start either with I like, or with I will, or with I wonder. Let's give you about a minute. And here they come. Very nice. And messages keep coming. Please keep it coming. By the way, I forgot to mention that we got 102 comments submitted to the Acrobats clips. Thank you very much. I will share that with the organizers at a later stage. And the comments keep coming. Write something I like, I will, I wonder. This is wonderful. Thank you. Being able to compare notes. And of course, you can scroll through. There's a lot of stuff coming around. There are some questions that I can address if you want. Feel free to keep your comments coming. I will try to fish for comments that start with I wonder, and if appropriate, I'll respond. I wonder when MassEnergize will span the US. Well, certainly there's a lot of Massachusetts people out there, but the spirit is spreading, and the question is how to find the right organizational channels to be seen. I wonder if we could take more risks, says Ellen. One thing I can promise you, if those of us who are trying to do things that work do not take more risks in how we communicate, in how we engage, in how we bond with others, we're going to be too slow. We may be safe, and maybe safety is needed, but the speed of change needed is so massive that risk-taking needs to happen. That's one of the main reasons why I'm really enjoying working with people from acrobatics and so on. Actually, I'm happy to report I'm catastrophic with my body, but I'm taking juggling lessons at a place in Natick called Eastern Acrobatics and Circus. And when I learned to juggle, there are so many things that are surprising. Let me stop this strange thing and go back to the normal camera. Anything that invites us to take risks where the worst that can happen is not that bad really helps us take better, different, smarter risks that can do good. I invite you to explore the space of possibility. Let me see one more. I wonder if no, that one I have seen. Some of what MassEnergize does to my own work on climate issues, Berkeley, California, of course, why not? How humor will move people to more measurable outcomes. Helga, we're trying to work on that. Indeed, one of the reasons why I asked you to do the survey in the beginning, it's because we also want to get a taste of whether any of this made a difference. So Nathan, if you want, could you please offer the last link, the one that was the post survey? I'm going to offer the QR code for those who prefer to use their device. Here we are. Shoulder, no full.
And it's in the chat.
Excellent. Thank you very much. So scroll down in the Zoom chat, and you will see survey.climatecentre. Notice that it's spelled the British way. As a global team, we have to embrace British English. So either there or through the QR code. What really matters is the first minute, those 7 questions or so. But feel free to keep going and to bless us with your insights. As mentioned before, please be very candid. Don't answer what you're expecting or what you think you may be wanted to answer, but just truthfully. How are you? Temperature check. And any insights you can share that could help me and my team improve how we try to take humor, acrobatics, and other unconventional approaches to address climate issues. I'm going to go silent for a couple of minutes, and then at 25 past the hour, I'm going to do as I was supposed to do and pass back the torch to the organizers. Greetings. So as you continue with the survey, if you want, I would like to express my big gratitude to the organizers of this event for the opportunity to be with you tonight. I hope that some of what you found could be useful for your upcoming endeavors, not only with MassEnergize, but also with everything else that surely you're doing for your town, for your state, and for this planet that needs a lot of what we're capable of giving. Thank you very much, and over to you.
Thank you very much, Pablo. And I want to say thank you to everybody. We're not quite done, but it's really lovely to have all of you with us tonight. And I'm going to turn it over to Ellen for some final thoughts.
Yeah, Pablo, let me say, I always enjoy every session I spend with you. I remember that one of the last ones, we were in some church in Wayland talking about solar and playing a game. So as someone who does a lot of experiential education earlier in my career, I'm reminded of the power of all of that. So thank you very much for enjoyable and thought-provoking and reminder of different modalities and the ways we can engage. So that was super helpful. So this is my heartfelt comment to all of you, which is that, you know, some years ago, Brad Catt and I met over a cup of coffee and said, we're all working in different communities on climate change, and we're kind of inventing it on our own. Let's try to do what we're doing and figure out how to make it go at scale. Because as Pablo said, and we all agree, we just have to go fast. We have to go fast. We're going to make mistakes, but we're going to have to go fast. And so we're trying to take what we've been doing on the software stuff and doing campaigns and all of those things and share that regularly with other communities. And I see many of you in our monthly community of practice, like Marcia and Hilly and all of those folks. And we are trying to allow us to scale and to go with some speed. We've been initially volunteer-led. Brad and I, Amy, Steve, Kat, many of you know, have been volunteering for this organization for many years. And it's my privilege to be able to do that and spend a lot of my time doing that. So this is the part where I ask for your help. Our budget this year had a goal of $175,000 goal from individual donors. We have philanthropic aid and we have some state money now as well. And we've raised 110 thus far. So we're at that end of the year. We need to raise another $65,000. It allows us to do all of our programming for free in environmental justice communities. And Pablo, to take risks. We're trying some stuff and I'm sure some of it won't work. And it's all good as long as I'm learning. It's all good as long as I'm learning and engaging. So we'd love your financial support. We're hoping to get some run room on some multi-year gifts so we can innovate more. And if you also want to help us, we'd love more volunteers. We're looking for folks who can help us on marketing and connections and grant writing and fundraising, but also anything. If you would like to have a really fulfilling experience doing some volunteering, we would take you on. I think our core team, looking at Steve, who I roped into this years ago, it's a really wonderful group of people to work with, and it makes you feel good. And lastly, we do have this annual conference, as Nathan notes. So if your company or organization would want to help be a co-sponsor of that, that'd be great. You can donate. Michael, love the question. If you go to massenergize.org, there's a donate button right there, and you can donate via that. And Nathan will also put his email in the chat. So if you have any questions about that and you don't want to do it in that way and want to use another modality, on our site is also our address. We take snail mail checks as well, and we can, if you're using a charitable giving or something, we can also, you can find us that way, and we can give you the EIN. Thank you, Sam, for the link. And we really are thrilled this collaboration in Ghana. We've been helping our software. We intentionally have been working with some folks that we're learning to spiff up their coding skills. We have a terrific relationship with Sam, who put us in touch with folks in Ghana, and we're thrilled to be able to give them enough work so that they are now starting a small business in Ghana, and will be doing lots of things in Ghana to help economic development, workforce development in Ghana, and big kudos for Sam for being able to do that with us. So we hope you'll be continue to be in the boat with us. We hope you enjoyed this evening. It's great to see a lot of familiar faces and a lot of new folks, and I'm enthusiastic. As many of you know, I'm sort of a pathological optimist. It seems like a better way to live. So I hope that we can all stay in community together, and we can all keep doing the work that needs to be done, and do it in community, and feel supported by each other, and allow ourselves to take the kinds of risks Pablo is mentioning. So Pablo, you want to end with any really nifty saying that's more articulate than me?
Connecting back to what brought us together for today, fun is functional. Fun can help you accomplish what you need to accomplish, especially when things are difficult. Wishing you awesome functional fun. And thank you all.